really good win tonight. Had to play terrific offense. You know, they're a good team. Very tough-minded, very physical. Run their stuff really well. Just don't get out of sorts. You know, they played that game with some pressure and only had 7 turnovers. Obviously struggled a little bit on the boards and gave them extra possessions to score, but our guys were tremendous on offense, shot it well, shared the ball, 21 assists again, and you know, found a way to win a hard game, which is good for us. So this was good. Proud of our team. Tough, you know, 9 o'clock start, a little bit of a different deal today just to get used to that. But I guess we got a bunch of these, so we better get used to it here soon. Questions?
Coach, that's a pretty good team that you just beat. 8-1
Yep.
coming in. You feel like they're probably NCAA caliber or close to it.
Yeah, I told our guys leading into the game that this is an NCAA tournament type team. It's, you know, we picked to play them. I've known Pat forever, back when he was at William and Mary and I was at Wilmington, and he does a really good job with his group. You know, they won their league and didn't happen to win the tournament, so they didn't get to go to the NCAA, but they played Wake in the NIT, you know, and so those guys are used to winning. And obviously they're 8-2 right now and have won a lot of road games. They've already won 4 road games, I think, true road games. So we knew we were going to get a good punch. We knew that they weren't going to be intimidated. We knew they were going to be ready. And we knew we'd have to play pretty well. And we played great on offense. Again, defensively, you know, C+, B- probably, just not quite as good as we need to be. Still got to fight to rebound. That's become a problem with this group. And then they got away from us on a couple things. I thought we'd be able to guard them in a couple things, and we didn't as well as I would have liked. But give our guys a lot of credit. That's a game that could go the other way. They had a lot of momentum in the second half, and our guys had to take it away from them, and we did.
So it was more of what they did offensively or what you guys did defensively?
It wasn't any surprises. It's just they have some good players, and they play in good space, and they've got enough shooting. Like when the kid Conway makes 4 threes, that's hard because like he can make a shot obviously, but he's not making 4 in most games. And then 55 is getting into the paint and making some plays off the drive and a back down. And then obviously Timberlake is really good coming off screens. He can jump up athletically and shoot over you. So they've got enough weapons, you know, to be problematic. Thompson's a good player, you know, and he was 4 for 4, but he got in a little bit of foul trouble. And it was one of those kind of games where it was physical. I mean, we had Ben fouled out. PJ had 4. Ian might have had 4. You know, and their guy ended up fouling out and being limited a little bit. I thought it would be a game where somebody would foul out because it's going to be played. Both teams post the ball more than some teams. Some teams shoot a ton of threes, don't post the ball a lot. You know, both Towson and Clemson post the ball. And so it's a little bit more methodical. It's a little slower pace, but it's very physical. And they matched us every bit with that.
You needed PJ tonight, and he won 28 minutes most of the season. It seems like his conditioning is getting there.
Yeah, it's better. I mean, he's still not where he needs to be because, you know, he's got to rebound the ball better. But, yes, this is somewhat the first week that, you know, I've felt comfortable with the trainer telling me that, hey, he's pretty much can go now. Like, we got to keep an eye, but he can go 28, 30 minutes if you need him. We're not on, 20-minute restriction and that kind of stuff. So he's obviously worked his way into it. He was terrific in terms of finishing some plays. He's got to keep getting better on the defensive end of the floor and rebounding the basketball to help us consistently. But made some big-time shots as usual. Yeah, I was, I really thought he would be able to guard a little better one-on-one in that scenario. He's done it in other games. That kid was a tough matchup. He was he could back him some, but he also had enough quickness to him that it was kind of, he wasn't all one or the other. It wasn't all face up. It wasn't back down. It was a little bit of both, and so he kind of just kept him off balance. And the way they play, he's isolated on a side with a shooter at the top, shooters on the wing, and we just decided not to double. We're going to, if he scores twos, we're going to give him up. And, we need to rebound some of the misses. And the first play of the game, they do it. He misses. PJ doesn't get the blockout rebound, and they score. Thompson scores, and that can't happen, right? You're not helping, so you're just in a one-on-one blockout. It's you and that guy. You don't have another responsibility. And we lost a couple of those battles, and then that's when it backfires on you. He was 7 for 18, so 5 for 12 for 2. That's not gonna beat you. But he's a good player. He's a good player. Holden's a good player.
That was a big charge that Hunter drew at the end of the game, though, wasn't it?
Great play, yeah. Chase with a great charge late. We got a couple opportunistic stops when we needed them. And again, we continued to execute pretty well offensively down the stretch and when we got behind in the second half.
How much of the threes are a product of unselfishness and making the
A lot.
pass?
A lot. We have this group. One of the first things you noticed this summer was how much they pass and share it naturally, and that hasn't always been the case. Some guys really like to shoot, and so they'll shoot some that's a little guarded, and our guys make the extra. That's one thing Brevin's done a nice job of. Brevin makes the extra pass. If he's in there and somebody's running at him, he's going to make the extra pass. Chase makes the extra pass. I mean, all of them. They really do share the ball. We knew that coming in, and we thought, well, hey, we're a pretty good passing team, and we're a better passing team than we were last year. And we still work on passing all the time. I remember last year telling you guys we did basic passing drills every day. After like the first month of the season, I finally we're going to go back to high school freshman basketball, and we're going to spend 12, 15 minutes every day on it. And we don't do it every day now, but we do it still some. But our guys are very willing passers.
Coach Hemingway went all 40 minutes tonight. Thought that was a big momentum play that he had, that three-point play.
Yeah, it was.
Up and under.
It was a great play for him. He's a little bit of a security blanket at times, just because he knows what to do all the time, and he's pretty sound defensively. He's giving you great effort. He can't always get the result you want all the time. He gets out athleted some, but man, does he improve tremendously defensively over the course of his career, and he's just a good player because he's a good weapon and he knows his role. He's a hero in his role, right? Like he's a guy that's what he tries to be really good at, and we've asked him to do some things defensively, and he's done a really good job, and our team trusts him. And he's in good shape. I mean, he's in good condition to be able to do all that.
Brad, has that three-point shooting been maybe even better than you thought it would be at the end of the year?
Yeah, at times. I mean, I don't expect, 4 for 8, 4 for 5, 3 for 4, 2 for 2, it's not something you can count on every night, but we're good enough to have nights like that. And we certainly talk about shooting a three, and, it helps things for PJ and puts pressure on teams defensively. And it's obviously stuff we work on a good bit.
Did Dylan not get in just because they were such stitchy?
It was just one of those games, the freshmen they're just working through some stuff. And in some of these games where it gets tight, you're just going with some older guys right now. And it's hard, but, they got to have a great week to get out there and to be able to contribute. And I still love all of them. I think they're going to be good players. But I think a lot of coaches are starting to feel a little bit like, it gets these – and it wasn't a racehorse up and down crazy game, so guys can log more minutes. And, we just went with the guys that were playing pretty well.
Seems like this season you typically take care of the ball better in the second half.
I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's because they're right in front of me and they're coming my way, and there are times I'm slowing them down because, we're having some difficulty understanding fast versus slow and when to attack when we have numbers, and when, like Josh is playing the first half, it's a 3-on-5. The two big guys are still behind him. They've got their whole defense set, and he's going down the lane and shooting his runner, fall down, shot. Like, can't do it, right? We've shown him 12 times on tape, and we've talked about it. And so, but like, if he's trying that down the left side with me standing there, like, it's probably getting held up, right? And so just understanding fast versus slow and when to just, we don't have the numbers, let's get ball reversal and get into offense. And, you know, that's probably a little bit of a product of not having a traditional point guard the whole time. It's guys who are playing point and balls in their hands, and their instincts are to be aggressive. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes, you know, we need to hold off.
Matt, do you have anything on Zoom that you wanted to add before we wrapped up? Or does anybody have anything else?
Was there a turning point in the second half?
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Maybe Alex.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big basket. I don't really have it right now. I'd have to watch. You know, we started poorly, and they took the lead, and then we fought back and got it, and then, you know, lost it again, it felt like. It was hard fought, man. It was a struggle. They were, again, I think, you know, one thing that speaks to their team, obviously how hard they play, all the rebounding, all those things, but then only to have 7 turnovers. You know, they run their stuff. Like, they execute well. They know how to play basketball. They play well together. They're a team that has clearly defined roles, and those guys buy into those roles, and the pieces fit, and that's why they're really good. Coach has done a really good job. Pat's done a great job of getting those guys to buy into what he needs them to do. They see it. It fits their personnel, and they play to it. And when they play like that and only turn it over 7 times in a game like tonight, you know, tonight they didn't shoot as well. I'd like to think some of our first defense wasn't too bad. We got them to miss some shots. We got to get the rebounds better. But our first shot defense was probably good enough. If they shoot the ball at a decent clip, they win tonight, you know, at all, because they didn't turn it over. You know, they're giving themselves chances, and they're giving themselves chances to rebound the ball because they're not turning it over, so there's going to be more shots. You know, they got 15 more shots than us. 15 more shots than us, you know. It's hard to win when you're giving a team 15 more shots, you know. So that's why we had to execute so well.
BJ just mentioned, you know, he doesn't have his lift all the way back yet.
Yeah, he doesn't.
As he works his way back, do you need your guards to get more involved?
We do, yeah, absolutely. But he's going to have to. He can't average 4 rebounds as a 6'10" player with that. And I've talked about this last year. That's the area of improvement, right? Was his defense and rebounding. He made huge strides as an offensive player last year, and you still see that. He's got some natural skills that are gifts that he can really play, and he's worked hard to master that. But he's got to become a better defensive center and rebounder for our team to be better defensively. Our team wasn't as good defensively sometimes. Last year, PJ was, you know, we had to cover for him in certain things. There are things he struggles with. And obviously the kid played with a broken foot almost, you know. And so he's still not healthy, so it's not fair to judge him on all that. But when he's at his best in January and February, we're going to need him to up his defense. And that's the part that I didn't feel like that's what the offseason and summer was really going to be geared towards for him. And now it's, you know, we're trying to do it now, and it's hard.
Anything else for Coach?
Yes, sir.
Brad, can I ask 2 real quick?
Yeah.
That's the first one. Just, and I'm sorry I got in late, so I'm sorry to
Sorry.
already address either of these. But just, how do you balance, obviously being pleased and getting a good win, but also knowing you're probably not going to shoot 61% from 3 every game, and trying to figure out what you still need to work on?
You know, that's what I told our team after. I said, hey, man, this is a good win. Like, we scheduled a hard game for you guys. This is a hard game. These guys are good. Most guys are scheduling, you know, 300 net teams, you know, 3 or 4 of them. And we're trying to avoid all that. And we're trying to schedule somebody we think has a chance to be in the top 100. And it's dangerous, right? But we think it prepares us. We think it helps with the end result. You can lose it. You know, driving in tonight, I wasn't excited about it. But, you know, I am now because we beat a good team. And so you have to balance that. Like, hey, man, it took a lot tonight to win. That's good for us. We need that. I'm not going to apologize for beating a good team tonight. Like, that was – but I told our guys, with what we did offensively tonight, this should have been a 15-point win. This should have been a game we win by 15, and we feel good the last 7 or 8 minutes of the game, you know, but that wasn't the case. So we're making it harder at times. Thankfully, guys are making plays, and we were able to get this one done that way.
And then just with Alex Hemingway, from where he's kind of gone from at the South Carolina game, maybe a little tentative and kind of not wanting to shoot, and now tonight he plays 40 minutes and it seemed like he really played well on both sides of the ball. Just kind of his growth.
Yeah, we just need him to keep stepping forward, right? He's just he's a super conscientious kid, almost to a fault. He's the nicest kid in the world. I got 10 of them, and he wants to, he really tries to excel in his role, almost to a fault sometimes, where we're trying to challenge him to do more. Like, you can do a little more. Don't be afraid to be aggressive. Go make a play. But he understands what we need. He appreciates his teammates. He knows what they're trying to do, and so but I would say his growth has been tremendous from his freshman year, right? And his maturity, understanding what he does defensively and physically, he's obviously changed. That's hard to do tonight, to go out there and run around for 40 minutes like that and still make all your shots and help your team win. So, yeah, I'm very proud of him.